Hello. I will be the last one to give advice to a producer. To be a real producer, a real director now is much more difficult than it was 20 years ago. Much more. You should not take advice of any other producer or any other, teacher or something. You have to take it like a very personal way of being involved with the creation. You are not an artist, you are, the principal reality of an artist, in that case, director, and you have to adhere to your own way of doing, and you'll find it. You'll find it. The first films I produced, one Oliveira, one Monteiro, even Raúl Ruiz, Tanner, and Wim Wenders, at that time I really didn't knew anything about the industry, about how to produce and everything. But I have to invent, for each film I have to invent a form for the film to be realized, for the director could, in a way, make the dream reality and keep going. It's just to say that you don't need to know the rules to do your own things, If you want to do it, just do it, that's all. And after you find a way to how to do it, if you really believe. How? Oh my God, I don't know. But for me, and that is very important even now, each film is particular. The films are like prototypes. I'm a producer of prototypes, not a producer of products like now. We cannot try to have a rule that applies to all the films. There are people that do like that. Normally now in Europe it's like that. The rules are the same for all the films, and you see that's why most of the films are all the same. But if you really want to see the cinema like an art, and you really want to see the cinema like someone, a director, an artist wants to transmit something, you have to see every project like something completely different, and you cannot try to apply the rules that you've made to the other ones. For me, is the way I have to produce movies, in a way to be, I'm what we call the principle of reality of the artists. Any person has his own way of living, in a way, all of us, And mine is one of them. And mine is something that it's important for me, is the curiosity. Always try to learn something. Mostly of the directors I work with, they are really anxious to go from one of these projects to another one. There are directors that make one film and after can be happy and stay with only one film. For example, for someone like Manoel de Oliveira or Raúl Ruiz, to make films it was the only way of living they had. What you say, every day of them was thinking what they were doing and what they could do still, And I was there just to try to not ralentir, not to limit them, in the contrary. And that's why there were so many films I produced. More.
So how many?
I think the best is go to Wikipedia or something like that, I don't know. Around 300, something like that. But not everyone was a masterpiece. Or if there is what I can say, 20 or 30 masterpieces out of 300 is for me, I'd be very happy with. But we have to believe in what, that you bring something different, something new. Cinema is it's an art, and it's something that makes people dream. And I want, through them, to the people to dream, but to dream in a way that when you read an incredible book, I dream reading Ulysses by Joyce. You know, I think there is not many people that dream doing Ulysses by Joyce. And I want the people, the spectators that come to see the films I produce, they have this pleasure. And this is not mainstream. It's something very special, you know, something that, like, you cannot say that the great literature or the great music now is mainstream. It's impossible. They are not, you know. The first film I made with Oliveira, I was 29 years old. He was 75. He came to see me because I changed a little bit his life in a way that when he made a film called Amor de Perdição, was shown in Portugal in very difficult decisions. The film took him 5 years to make, in the beginning of the 70s. And the film was a disaster, and everybody was saying that he was already senile, with 75 years old. You know, mostly of the directors in the industry doesn't have the chance to go on doing it. And I decided to open the film in Paris. And the film has such enormous critics, incredible critics, but once more, I don't know how many spectators he made. But, you know, like Cinema, Le Monde, Sight and Sound, everything, you know. That the same film after came back to Portugal, and it was a success, and everybody that hated the film started saying the film was a masterpiece, you know. Because at that time, the French critics were praised like everything. But when I started producing, the first one to come to see me, Oliveira, it was for that. It was not because of my experience. It's only because he found that I in a way, saved him in a way that he could go on doing the film. But sometimes you have to, like with Pedro Costa, I don't know if you know Pedro Costa here. Pedro Costa is another Portuguese director, and I made 2 films with him. And the third one, he came and said, Paulo, I want to do a kind of documentary. I'm alone with the camera. I do this, and this. And I said, if you want to do it like that, you don't need a producer. The best is you to do it alone. And Pedro Costa, after that, started himself producing himself with he invented a new way of doing films for him, and I'm still a very good friend of him. We still. But when I felt that I was not important for a project or for a director, the best is step back. It's my way, you know. I don't want to produce just for producing. I just want to that in a way. To be in a project will bring something to the project. If not, I prefer not be. Even with directors that I work a lot. For me, you know, like you say, cinema is still, and I think it's the future of the cinema, is to be back to be an art. I think entertainment movie will disappear, you know, with the new ways of seeing films.